The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Thursday! Hey. Looking live at it's a very dark and dismal, dreary, it just got dark all of a sudden. Tostitos Championship Plaza outside Ford Center at the Star of Frisco, where it is 65 degrees and rainy. The high is 70, the low is 62.
He's Shannon. He's Nate. We got Chris in the back. No Jesse today. He's tied up. But I am Kurt, trying to fill his zaddy shoes.
Hey.
Together,
we are the sports equivalent.
We are the sports. Together, we make up Hanging with the Boys. The sports talk equivalent to Braille. People feel us when we speak.
When y'all speak.
Nice job. Brought to you each and every day by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Yes, sir.
You're right. Doing this once a week, it's hard to remember.
Hard to remember, man. It's hard to get in a rhythm. So we have breaking news. Just announced within the hour at AT&T Stadium, July the 20th, I believe. Let's see, Saturday, July 20th, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. How about that?
You got to explain this one to me.
How about that? What do you want to know?
I mean, this can't be like legit,
It's
right?
legit.
It's like a PR stunt.
No. So,
I mean, Tyson's what, 60?
but he fought Roy Jones Jr. about what, 3 years ago, I guess, and looked pretty good. I mean, he's an old man now, but like he can still punch.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get punched by him.
No.
But, you know,
he had a good punch in the
I know
Hangover.
Jake Paul's kind of become a real deal.
Yeah, he's probably got four fights that have been publicized under his belt, and he looks pretty good. He's not an elite boxer, but has he
faced anybody?
He's faced some ex-UFC guys and knocked them out. None of them were in their prime, or Tyron Woodley's probably the one guy that he fought that I thought would win, and he didn't. But the way that he's done it, though, he fought Tommy Fury, which is Tyson Fury's younger brother, and he's a professional boxer, and he beat him, I think, in a decision. They're supposed to do a rematch, and then he fought Ben Askren, which is a wrestler, but he was in the UFC, and he had no shot. Yeah. Like, he just went in there and got knocked out for $500,000.
Chris has a
sign me up.
Chris Beam, our great producer, has a theory on how this contract gonna go, right?
No, it says they're not. Sometimes in these contracts, they'll have non-knockout clauses.
Oh,
that
really?
mean like
so nobody won't get embarrassed.
So you don't knock the guy completely out.
I mean,
but what about one punch if you just slip?
I don't know.
Pulling punches? How do you do
I'm
that?
about to say Tyson probably still has that one punch that will knock you out.
See, I don't think they're going to do that, though, because I think Jake Paul's ego is too big to do that. I don't think he would. I don't think he would put a no knockout clause in there, because he don't want to be no B word.
Yeah.
I think his ego's got him too big. He's doing it the right way. He started.
But that is such a thing. Is there not a non-knockout clause in these contracts sometimes?
In these weird fights that are unsanctioned.
Are you surprised Tyson's doing? Because he doesn't. What's he get out of this other than a lot of money?
If you see the post on AT&T Stadium's Instagram, it's going to be streamed on Netflix. So I'm sure they backed the truck up and said, "Here you go." And I bet they sell at least 40,000 tickets to this thing at the stadium.
They're going to get your money?
They might. I'm interested. You going, Nate?
I might, man.
Nate's like, I'm going.
I get an old man. Just sit up there with the old man section.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. You got a bunch of young influencer kids that want to see Jake Paul. Then you got people like me that want to see Jake Paul get knocked out, and then you got old school guys like me and Nate that remember Tyson from his heyday. Vander Holyfield days, Buster Douglas days.
So then you got the guys that want to go roll one. Tyson! baby.
Because Tyson and Ric Flair have a cannabis line.
Yeah, so they want to.
really.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, it's gonna be some rollers up there
Yeah.
too.
That could be fun.
Ric Flair,
The name of his podcast, Kurt Tyson, is Hot Box. Or Hot Boxing.
Hot boxing, I believe it's called.
Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson.
That's
and
funny.
yes, that double entendre.
Yeah.
So-
There was almost a fight on that on his podcast the other day,
Yeah,
if
it
I
was,
remember correctly.
Hagler and Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
No, it's Sugar Ray and the other guy.
Hearns?
Hearns.
Hagler's passed away, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
That was
They
funny.
almost got in a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny. You need to check it out.
Yeah, I don't think you were here that day. I was showing Jesse after the show, Nate after the show.
Myself.
So, all right, well, there you go. There's your breaking non. Of course, we always start the show with non-cowboy related news. So there you go. So very interesting. July 20th. Get your. I don't know when tickets go on sale, but when they do, go get your tickets. That'll be interesting. I bet they have another. I bet they add some other celebrity
Undercard.
I
Yeah.
bet there's going to be like an influencer versus big name.
Wow.
I bet. So, be interesting. Good stuff. Man, have we got some stuff to talk about. Normally, we some days we struggle.
Yeah,
We don't ever
sure.
struggle to fill up the time, but we struggle to find Cowboys-related news. This week is not one of those weeks. So, I mean, Dalton Schultz is throwing grenades. We got Tyron Smith and Tony Pollard talk. We've got Micah Parsons talk. We've got Combine talk. Like, so many things. You know,
Yeah.
where do you want to go, Kurt?
Where do I want to go? Well,
Or
Nate
do we
was-
want to let Nate pick?
no, let Kurt pick, man,
Well,
because
I was-
he put these things out here. So.
I was going to go where Nate, you were talking a little bit about this before, and I thought it was interesting at the scouting combine. McClay, we wondered what Zimmer would do differently here and that sort of thing. And McClay kind of said there, we lose Shannon. McClay kind of said that, yeah, they're taking a little different scheme with the defense. They're looking for some bigger guys, big athletic football guys. Obviously, we've been seeing them getting run over in the running game. So I guess my question is that going to be a big difference as far as what we're going to see and even what they have to learn?
The thing about it is, I believe this is, whenever you want to beat the Cowboys and you are of equal talent or better, the coaches just line up. Every offensive coach that is worth his salt, that watched any film and went in depth on the Cowboys during the playoffs. I'm not talking about the regular season. During the playoffs, they say, how do you beat the Cowboys? Run the ball. It is simple. It is, and this is the sad thing about it. I'm glad we're not doing a show on just this, because all we got to say is stop the run and the Cowboys will be successful in the playoffs. Then we'll leave the show.
That's simple.
But Coach Quinn wanted long-rangey athletic players.
Yeah.
Guys that he could scheme into certain fits, the in-betweeners. I think Coach want a nose tackle, 6'3", 315 pounds, that's going to be that all year. You know what I'm saying? Our other guy lost weight.
Yeah.
Either he knows what he wants his defensive end to look like. When I used to go to the Senior Bowl, which I think this year coming up, I'll start going back to, is you would see Zim up in the press box every year. I could, hey, man, I'm going to the press box. Why? See Zim. And certain positions, safeties, he knew what he wanted his safeties to look like. He knew what he wanted his defensive linemen to look like, much like Coach Quinn. Coach Quinn wanted a more rangy or athletic guy. Coach knows, and everybody over there now knows that we got beat on offense and defensive lines. Every year it happens. Yeah. And so he wants, I haven't talked to Coach Zim. I just see his history. He going to want that mediator in the middle with some attitude. Not the attitude of I'm just going to beat you up. I'm going to make some tackles. I'm going to get some hits for some losses. And maybe that kid from Michigan came in wanting that, Mozzie, but when he got here, he didn't perform. I'm not giving up on the kid. You used the first-round pick. Let's give him this 8, 9, 10 games into this year. But I'm with Coach, and I'm just looking to see on the back half of the draft who we're going to get. I know in the first 2 picks, I know you want to make sure you get the right guy at the right spot, so that may not be a place for a defensive lineman. But I would like to see in the 3rd or 4th, the 5th, what type of guy you get.
So they've gone now, 3-4 years building a team with players that Quinn wanted. Is that going to be a big adjustment to now?
No. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think this right here, you already have decent defensive ends, above average defensive ends. That's already covered. You got nice corners. You may need one more. You got nice corners. Now you may want to replace 1 or 2 of your safeties. You already got him here. You got the Bell kid just moving back. Mm-hmm. The Bell kid is ready to go. He's ready to go now. So you move the Bell kid back to one of those safety positions, and Donovan Wilson is a beast, I think. But they 2 of the same guys, I think, Bell and Wilson. So you may have to find that deep guy, the guy that we just recently signed. I can't think of his name. We keep him. So your safety's in place. To me, this team is lacking 2 things. A dominant offensive lineman, which we still have in our right guard. He's dominant, but age and health is getting him now. He's still a dominant player, and we don't have that dominant defensive lineman. We don't have it. Now, I know y'all going to tell me about Parsons. He's not a dominant defensive lineman. He's a dominant pass rusher. Mm-hmm. It is a total difference. So we need a dominant defensive lineman. You know, yeah.
Do you think Tyler Smith is on the path to being a dominant offensive lineman?
Yes, if he can cut down on the penalties, yeah. He just got to understand that a lot of times you don't have to hold a guy to dominate a guy. Mm. Sometimes you just get him out of position.
Just give him a little push.
So he can get there, but when he didn't get voted, that let me know that a lot of players are looking at him in a special way. Just much like Parsons, you can toot your own horn. We here can love you to death, but it's 31 other teams that's voting.
Yeah.
So
that's true. So the future is not completely bleak. Because it sounds like Tyron's on his way out. Zach's getting old. You just got some pieces, right?
Through free agency or the draft, we can replace these guys, but you have to let them play. Yeah. So now, does that mess up McCarthy's window? Because. And please don't get me wrong. I know we're not Kansas City, but Kansas City rebuilt their whole team in 17 games. Coach Reed looked at them first 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, because they didn't look great.
Man, this ain't gonna work. He went to his quarterback. He went to his defensive leaders and said, "This is how we got to do it, fellas. Trust in me, and at the end we'll get there."
You know where it started?
What's that?
The big guy in the middle on defense.
Yeah.
Get him.
The same person that computer said the man don't play but twice a year.
Right.
Computer, you giving us bad information. This dude came back off his sabbatical from just holding out and rewritten the way it's been played. So,
are you ready to move on from Tyron?
Tyron Smith?
Yeah.
As a swing tackle, no.
Ooh, swing tackle.
Much like they paid him last year per game, he had like kind of a per game contract, and I hope I'm saying this right. You do him the same way. But if you don't draft a guy that you think is startable, he's that guy for you. The more you want to get away from him, the more difficult it is because you waited 2 years too long.
Yeah.
You should have been – we are there, fellas. All we need is an attitude adjustment and a few linemen. We got the receivers. We got the DBs. We get a linebacker, a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman. We there. And change the attitude of how you do things. Live for the big play. Don't be scared of the big play. Live for the big play. Play your regular plays. But when the big play come, I don't know the right word, just live in it, man. Just live for that big play. Be waiting on it. So when it come, you ready. They call it the mojo moment, but the Cowboys been failing in the mojo moments.
I know you've had a good working relationship with Tyron.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about this?
I feel like you keep him if the money's right?
Yeah.
But if he wants the big paycheck, or if he wants to go win a championship and doesn't feel like they can do it here, then, he needs – I mean, last year was the first time he was healthy for that long of a time and forever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'd hate to see him go. I mean, I've known him since, he was a rookie, and saw him come in and saw him in San Antonio working out on the field with DeMarcus Ware and staying after practice and working, with offensive line coach. But if you think about it, it's the ending of an era.
True.
Because him, Zach, and D-Law are the last connection to the old regime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Witten, Tony, all those guys, because everybody else is aged out, right, or gone to other teams. So it's like those are the last three guys. Wow. So he's
aged out.
Yeah, they did. They aged out of the league. But I mean, those are the last. It was I guess you call them the dismal years of the after
the
you
up
guys,
and down,
and then you had hope again when Tony was here, right? And it was like, okay, we're close. And you had those 2 seasons where you play here and there, and you could have gone to the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. That was that era, and then you have the Dak era. These are the last 3 guys that bridge that. So I don't want to see him go. I want to see him finish. Yeah. He's one of the few guys that it's like Witten. Like you didn't want to see him, and then when he went, it wasn't the same. It was like, oh, he went for a year or whatever. So I don't want to see him go anywhere. But I mean, at the same time,
but you got to dictate to him.
Yeah,
it comes a point where you have to dictate to a player. Well,
let's talk about that. I think he's in a similar situation when you talk about dictating to players. Tony Pollard, right? It's you gotta. So let's take a break. Let's talk about Tony. We'll finish up with Tyron, talk about Tony when we come back, and then all kind of other good stuff in the next 30-ish minutes. On Hanging with the Boys. Be right back.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole made with real Hass avocados will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they make just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
welcome back to the second segment of Hanging with the Boys, brought to you each and every day by blockchain.com. Thank you, blockchain.com. And like you said, Kurt, doing this once a week, I have to dig in the old memory bank to remember who each segment's sponsored by. All right, talking all things Cowboys now that we talked boxing half of the first segment. Talking about Tyron Smith. Rumors are he could be leaving because he's going to want more money than they're probably willing to pay him.
At some point, though, I mean, it's got to bring some youth in, you know? Zach's getting older, and you got no center right now.
Yeah, and Nate was talking about before the break dictating sometimes to players, you know, here's the deal on the table. Take it or leave it, right?
If you, like, and I'll just step back a minute, like Zeke. When I hear, to me, this is ignorancy. Hey, man, we can't give you $3 million. I know it's a slap in the face. How a man that had made nothing coming out of college, how $3 million is a slap in the face? So I never got that, but it made me strong in my beliefs. Hey, Tony, we love you. This is how you work in our offense. You know how you work in our offense.
Tony Pollard.
Yes. We're going to give you this amount of money. And once free agency starts, this deal is on the table for 2 weeks. If you find something better, we shaking and hugging right now. We love you. Thank you for your services. If you don't, after those 2 weeks is up, you got 48 hours. You come and sign our deal, and we carry on. But if you don't, we gotta go. Mm-hmm. We gotta go find a guy. We can't just let free agency pass and not have a guy that we can help, you know, hopefully replace you.
So you think
just with a little bit of honesty. It may not be pretty, but be honest. Mm-hmm. Same with Tyron Smith. We all love him to death. Okay, love ain't got nothing to do with it, man. Tina Turner told you 1,000 times why she left Ike with his old violent self. So love ain't got nothing to do with it. What has to do with it is sensibility for your team, you know, and we know how valuable you are, Tyron. This is the deal. This is what we're willing to give you. 2 weeks in the free agency, if you're gone.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I have been wrong once maybe on this show in the 5 years that we've done this, but
not since I feel.
Do what?
Not since you started, I feel.
No. But I think this team or this ownership group has done a good job of that, right? You hear a lot of drama with other teams like, you know, they said this, but this is what really happened. It seems like they're pretty straightforward when it comes to contracts and like, hey, now players might not like what they hear, but it seems like, you know, here's how we want to use you, here's what we want to do, or here's what we'll offer you, and if not, like you said, this is what's on the table. You know, it seems like players usually leave here on good terms.
Right.
They may not want to leave or may not like what they hear, but it sounds like that's kind of what happens here.
So are you okay bringing Pollard back? I mean, there's a lot of good running backs out there.
Pollard is our guy. The Pollard ain't never been an issue with me. It's the guy that you share the time with. He's a split back. You know, he don't mind sharing the time, but share the time. And but Pollard problem was not him last year. The problem was our offensive line. And when they finally got consistent, the age showed up, the inexperience, a little bit of inexperience showed up. I mean, you had a right tackle coming off a major knee surgery. You had a offensive guard, right guard, who finally hit his stride 4 or 5 games left in the season. Your center is just a guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
And so when you play the upper echelon of teams, he going to get handled a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't going to give up, but he going to get handled. Your right guard is an excellent player. Your left guard is an excellent player, but he's got to understand in the big games you can't have penalties. Mm-hmm. And your left tackle is good as long as he's healthy. He's just good. He's good. He's ready to go.
I kind of fall into that thinking of you don't spend big on a running back. You should be spending that money on your offensive line. And so
are them corners. I mean, if we get a linebacker in here, I mean, a guy that can hit and bring you down, not a guy. I mean, Bell, I love him to death, and I'm every week I got my fingers crossed because every time he hits somebody, they drag him 4 or 5 yards, or they run him over. He gets the job done, but not efficiently enough. You need a big body banging linebacker that can come downhill and stop a guy. It's 3rd and 2. He ain't getting but a yard.
Yeah. I'd rather spend money on that than a running back. Maybe spend a second-day draft pick on a running back if you need to, but I just don't see spending a lot of money there even though there's some good talent out there. I don't know if that's the right way to go.
Well, the game's changing.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the way you're set up at receiver and tight end, and you're putting all this money in your quarterback. Like,
your running back is good. Now, whether he think he is better than what is, money-wise, that's up to him. I mean, I look at how Kansas City, Detroit, and all of these better teams that's consistently winning now, what are they doing? Went out and got a first-round pick. Detroit, he went out and got that kid from Bama. I liked him all year. I was hoping he would kind of fall to us, because I had him at 3rd or 4th round. They done took him in the 1st round, so little do I know. I knew he was talented, but I thought he could slip through. But, if you see a guy you like and he's slotted right, don't pass him. But you know what? To me, if we sitting here when the season start and we haven't got a couple of offensive linemen through free agency or the draft that's playing, we failed. I don't care how you can tell me how good the wide receiver is. You can tell me this. You can tell me that. But when the playoffs start and it come down to your offensive defensive lineman, that wide receiver going to be disgruntled out there because your quarterback going to be on his back. So you can do whatever you want.
Welcome to the show. Special guest, Nick Eatman.
Hi.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for coming down and hanging out.
How's your show going?
Yeah.
It's going well.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have one today.
Yeah, okay.
We're moving the schedule to tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Yeah, it's a big day tomorrow.
Have you been invited back?
I like doing him during the year. I don't want to do him during.
I want you to listen tomorrow.
Okay. Just text me a little bit. What time is it?
It's going to be at 10 a.m.
Okay.
You're going to be included.
Okay.
Because tomorrow we're going to reveal.
Fat Jelly Roll Day?
Yep. Yeah, I'm the host. Great. No, we're the all storyline team for all the fans. The the best fans that called in. But if you sat in the chair, you're an honorary member already.
Cool, man.
So you get to be in. So
what does he get for that?
Pat on the back.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a fist bump. We'll see what
free
goes.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
And a cup of coffee.
We're working on some T-shirts. I'm trying to get
sweet.
T-shirts.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Are you a medium?
No, I'm double X.
Okay. So am I.
Double.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You wear the same size shirt?
Now, if they make them big, if they make them small, then triple X.
Yeah.
So if they, I'm not Mike Irvin. I don't want to be tight. You know what I'm saying?
He does wear them those tight shirts, doesn't he?
Okay, Shannon.
Hey, I like it. I'm not knocking about it. I like it. Nick, we're talking about Tyron possibly leaving, and then that kind of went into Tony Pollard talk. But I was talking about like it's the end of an era, right? Like that him, D-Law and Zach are really that last link between the Tony Romo era, which was, the first team that gave you hope outside of Nate and those guys' teams. Those are the only three guys that are really left, unless I'm missing somebody.
No.
CJ Goodwin maybe.
No. I mean, it's 2011 is when Tyron, and then 14 Zach and D-Law, and then after that, I think the next closest one is Dak.
The biggest loss was our center, the guy that got the
Frederick.
Travis.
If we could have kept him, he was a quiet, nasty guy.
Run game would have been different.
Oh man,
last
you could have
year.
did whatever you wanted. You could have pulled guys. You could have ran the. You could have did whatever you wanted. And I tried to, I was like, fellas, we finna lose one here. Even when he came back from that disease, he was still better. And I hate to say this, because the guy's playing now. He's better than the center we had.
All right,
we
so
got now.
I have a question. Let's take a break and we come back. You can answer this question because I got into a conversation with somebody about the importance of a center versus a left tackle. So I want to get
so many different
y'all's thoughts on that because I had an opinion and I don't know if.
We want to hear your opinion. I feel.
I'll let you know how I feel when we come back with special guest Nick Eatman on Hanging with the Boys.
Thanks, Nick.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at Wingstop.com.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
James Wright here, your 2022 Dallas Cowboys fan of the year. You know how much I love my Cowboys, and I am thrilled to be talking to you about the 2023 Fan of the Year award presented by Captain Morgan. We're looking for the ultimate Cowboys fan to spice up the game. That means you eat, sleep, and breathe the Dallas Cowboys. If that's you, or if you know someone like me, then go to DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year, and you could win tickets to Super Bowl 58 and so much more. Enter today.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the final segment of Hanging with the Boys, brought to you each and every day by Jigsaw, the official dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We were re-engaging in Jake Paul, Mike Tyson talk because Nick said he was a little late to the show because he wrote a story that
he couldn't believe.
He never thought he would ever write.
I was looking on my phone as I'm driving. I'm like, okay, why am I getting this? I'm like, they're really gonna fight? Like, wow. Like,
I thought it was a joke.
I know, but I'm like, why am I getting this? And I'm like, scroll. I'm like, AT&T Stadium. I'm like, oh crap! I can't imagine the people that I'm about to talk to for the first time in 7 years. Like, hey, how's it going? You got any tickets for the fight? Oh yeah.
Let me say this right here. Tell the story of the great.
Oh yeah. You guys would never guess. Mike Tyson in 1985 or 86. I wasn't around, but I've heard this story a couple times, that one of his biggest early fans was Tom Landry.
Yeah.
Tom Landry was like, he's a huge boxing fan, which is a shock to me.
It's crazy.
But he knew of this up-and-coming fighter from New York, and he was just a brawler. Yeah. The Catskills of New York is just gonna. He was so excited about him. He's like, and he wanted to watch him like on a Saturday night. I think before a game, they tried to figure out in the hotel how to watch a fight. So that's the last person that I thought would be all in on that.
So are you?
Yeah, that's bad.
So
bad
you might actually get to
in.
go talk to Tyson at the press. I'm sure they'll have press conferences and media events leading up to it. You got to go. You got to go.
Do you think we can get him on Hanging with the Boys?
Get Mike Irvin to go with you. Him and Mike.
Are they tight?
Oh,
are they really?
Man, Mike used to come back, almost miss meetings. Where you been, man? I've been hanging out with Tyson. I'm like,
y'all need to
sit next to
y'all
me.
need to do like an exclusive one-on-one DallasCowboys.com. The two Mikes.
Mike and Mike.
Yeah, Mike and Mike.
Yeah, he loves Mike Irvin. I'm telling you now, Mike
really?
love him.
That'd be great. Make that happen.
About hanging out with those guys.
You will be hanging.
Hanging with the boys.
What would be more fun, hanging out with them back in the 90s or hanging out with them
I was
now?
mad because he knew how big a Tyson fan I was back in the day. And he waited. Look, he's smiling in the meeting. He comes late in the meeting. I'm like, what you smiling about, man? Guess who I was hanging with? And I'm kind of guessing all these people. They say, yo, boy, Tyson. Oh, I told him you said hello.
Didn't get the invite.
He crushed me. But then, after a while, I looked at Mike's eyes and said, I ain't want to be with that group.
we're all about the same age, at least to the point where we watched him play.
Yeah.
Did you always root for him? I did.
Always. No matter who.
It doesn't matter who. And that's, I always thought this was kind of weird because he went to jail for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay? We know why.
Yeah.
That happens today. Like, you get canceled.
Yes, you do.
But his career was kind of on the downhill side when that happened. Wasn't
Yeah.
It?
But I still was rooting for it.
That's when the rails kind of went off.
Yeah.
That's when he was
he'd already
beatable.
lost.
I remember where I was. I remember
When you saw
exactly where I
Buster
was
Douglas?
with Buster Douglas.
I do too.
I mean, I remember like, no way.
Yeah.
No, that's a great documentary, by the way, on Buster Douglas. But yeah, I mean, I always rooted for him,
Always.
And I never fought him. Did you? In the Nintendo game?
Never got that far.
Never got that far.
I tried. Punch out.
I didn't have the code or anything.
Yeah.
I never, I wouldn't have lasted long.
Never got to him. I got to what is his name? Slappy Joe or whatever his name was. Slappy Joe.
Bald Bull.
Bald
Bull.
Bull. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bald Bull was about as high. I think that was like the third or fourth guy.
Get him right in the stomach.
That's how far I could get on a quarter.
I never played none of them games, but I bet it was fun.
Kids, believe it or not, video games used to be a quarter.
Quarter?
A quarter.
Oh.
Yep. Until Dragon's Lair came out, and then it was 50 cents, and that was just like, wow. So great.
That's gonna be interesting though. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Make sure you go to the press conference. So, all right.
I've seen some YouTube videos of press conferences that did not go well with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask
Different
him.
guy now.
Yeah.
60 whatever.
Mellow, he probably been on hit him one. You know what I'm saying? Probably been on roll.
I mean, the last guy he knocked out was Allen from The Hangover.
Yeah.
Like
10 years,
he still got it.
That's funny. Just letting you know that was funny.
Okay, so question for you. I got into
57.
57. Okay. Got into a conversation with somebody about the importance of a left tackle and a center. And left tackle, blindside tackle is always, everybody's always putting the emphasis on that. To me, I think your center is just as important as your left tackle because they're the quarterback of the offensive line. And if that breaks down and the defensive lineman's in your lap every play, you don't have a pocket to. So
Thank you.
What's more important?
You say it again so everybody can hear. If I'm sitting in the quarterback's lap, left tackle, you can be one of the greatest in the world. You will be hampered 25% of the time because you're going to have to change your sets because you got to set quicker and get on this guy. And you don't want to do that always on the athletic guy. If you got an athletic guy that can move and you sitting up there real quick and you miss that punch or your feet don't get around enough, you right on top of that quarterback now because he's in the perfect place because the center not let him back there. So give me that good center, that solid center, and that can hold his ground. And then I can make it work with the left tackle.
Should that be the Cowboys' top priority in free agency?
Either way, either draft one that's a bulldog or free agency. And if you're gonna make, because Cowboys ain't got but a year and a half left. They ain't got
the window.
Yeah, the window is this year and maybe this year coming and maybe next. That's it, bro.
This year.
Yeah, that's it. That window.
I think this is the window.
Yeah, it's finna slam shut, bro.
I don't think there's a window next year. I really don't.
You don't think there's that half?
The reason I do is because of who you draft. Who you draft to sign in free agency. That's why I think so. That's why I think Dak kind of made me kind of lose a little faith because I just thought that he, out of that 7 or 8 years, I didn't think the playoff would be this for him. I just knew in my heart, bro, that he was going to be a different guy. Dak was so off kilter. That hurt. And that made me lose a little faith.
Talking about this year?
Yes, sir. He was so off kilter. Yes, he was.
Did you lose faith in C.D. Lamb?
Nah. C.D. Lamb is who he is, man. C.D. Lamb.
I'm just saying, let's be fair about it. I mean, C.D. wasn't himself either.
Yeah, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Nobody was.
But
really.
the thing that got C.D. was he needed for Dak to be on.
Yeah.
This is what I try to as you go through a year of football playing during the regular season, that is where you build that trust. And what I didn't see from C.D. Lamb was trust. He didn't trust in Dak. Even though Dak was pressing, he didn't say, let me make a play for you. His body language went back to that old CD. And you shouldn't have done that because now your quarterback is pressing, and now he's pressing even more. And and when that went out of whack, I mean, because everything is predicated off CD. He is the number one guy. He is the priority. When that went, and then you couldn't get the ball enough to the tight end, the whole thing just fell apart. It just fell apart.
Speaking of tight ends, Kurt, do you have Dalton Schultz's comments?
Well, yeah.
He went on McAfee. Was it yesterday?
I believe it was yesterday.
He lobbed a couple of grenades north.
Yeah, McAfee asked him to compare the Cowboys with the Texans, and he, in a nutshell, said the focus is just football with the Texans, and here it's more about the brand. He called it a zoo at one point, and said that, and he did say that's okay. That's the way Mr. Jones wants it, but he implied that it definitely makes it a little distracting for the players, which goes back to what we've been all off season with the culture and the distractions and all that. It just kind of throws a little more fuel on that fire.
Yeah, and I wonder how much, like, if a tour's walking through the building, right, while you're working out, right? I think he even said they tap on the glass.
Yeah, they tapped on the glass while they're working out.
While they're doing, squats or whatever there at the thing. Like, does that affect you on Sunday? Like, does it really?
Well, I mean, he implied
part of the
even
machine, right? But
he even implied that, like, before games, there's things that happen you wouldn't normally see at other places with people popping in the locker room or on the sidelines, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So.
and that's part
like Bill Crosby showing up, the Prince of Israel showing up.
Like
all of that right there is really gonna make you not want to play a bulldog, man. It's just man, man, the Prince Muhammad showed up, man. Now I just can't block this nose guard.
I dropped that pass because that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Was I met that guy. Like, I mean, it's part of
Is it an excuse? Is what
well,
you're saying?
it's a show, right? Like this whole look at the Star. Like, this doesn't happen other places. Look at Ford Center. Look what the music awards are down the hall with, campers lined up from country music stars while there's that. I don't think that affects.
It's a lady that goes to Kansas City. She's one of the most followed ladies in the world. Why didn't Kansas City not get into the playoffs? They were supposed to, and they had the most drops. They had a team that didn't know who they was, and then when they brought this Taylor Swift girl in, they should have folded up. According to the dude down there with the Texans. Come on, man.
Well, the NFL wanted them is conspiracy. They changed the script when she entered the picture so they could get more ratings.
Okay, so that's why they went to the run game a little bit more than the pass game, and they got the best quarterback in the league. Come on, man.
I mean, I'm not denying it. There is 1,000% more stuff that goes on here than it does anywhere else. I just don't know if you as a player are focused on what you need to be focused on, how much that bothers you. Is it? Are they talking points?
Does that feed into the we're just going to build our brand? And
if he's into the perception, 100%, I think. Especially
you can build a brand.
Go to Houston. I mean, do they have a brand?
Do they have opportunities? That's the thing.
I mean, seriously. I mean, what history do they have? I mean, seriously. They that's a great place to go.
Yeah.
That guy was salty when he got here. He was. He was a salty rookie. I don't know what the problem was with him, but he always was. He always had a chip on his shoulder. I don't know what it was, about I don't know if it was Witten or what it was, but I mean, he was always that way. Even on some of his best games, he was always, short with the media and all that stuff. So, it was a weird thing too, because he got offered money, he didn't take it, and then he ended up in Houston, and he ended up in a good situation and had a good year. But I mean, Cowboys drafted Jake Ferguson, and he had a better year, and he's a better player, you know.
Yeah.
So he's not getting knocked backwards out of bounds at the last play of the game against the 49ers.
No, don't do that.
Let the clock
Nick,
go.
let it go. He is bitter.
But-
We're not bitter. Let it go.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, he got knocked backwards there,
Yeah.
and maybe because he was distracted in the weight room. I don't know.
Somebody tapped on the window.
Yeah, I mean that probably was.
I used to buy into that, and then I started thinking about some of the people that we would meet before games and passing by games and walking by, and I'm like, Justice Thomas, I mean, Prince, and this lady, and Gary Busey used to hang out with us and doing, working out, and so I'm like, them were guys who was worth something when I played, and it was talked about, and Troy dated this person, and so I'm like, it just depends on the player. It's what you do out on that practice field. It's what you do in those games that count.
Yeah, and this is an entertainment brand. The Dallas Cowboys. Pittsburgh is a football brand. You go to Pittsburgh and they got a rock band on the concourse, and they play up until that's the only entertainment they have. They don't have anything after the game. You come here, it's a show. You go and you're
entertained.
It's an experience.
Gladiator.
Right?
Are you not entertained?
And I think when you have a franchise that hasn't won a Super Bowl as long as it's been here, you're grasping for anything to figure out why. Is it the management? Is it the ownership? Is it they focus too much on non-football things? Well, you know why? Because they can. You think all of 31 other teams wouldn't want to make money outside of football? Heck yeah, they do. And as a player, now when you're on that side of the building, do tours walk through here? Absolutely. Does that keep you from staying in the building and studying film? Do they come in and I don't know. I think it's just a talking point
But they are so strict with those tours over there. They are so strict. And that guy or girl that tapped on the window went against the rules because they don't do that.
Yeah.
Players are working out. Even coming through here, these people will not really mess with us.
You can't take
unless
pictures.
we engage them. So
do your job.
He did a nice job on what Pat McAfee show. Mm-hmm. You did a nice job, son. We still love you, and if your money was lower, we probably would try to sign you as a backup.
So since we have Nick we're already over, but I want to get your takes, and I don't know when we'll talk to you again. What are your, and you too, Nate, I think you said it before on the show, and then you too, Kurt. Let's just all jump in. And you too, Chris. What are your top three to five needs in the draft? Do you have any pet cats yet that you like?
I think also you got to see what happens in free agency, but I don't think it's going to be anything. I think it's going to be a lot of goodbye to the players. So I think for me, you got to get a center. You got to get the starting positions. You got to get a center. You got to figure out your left tackle or your left guard, whatever Tyler Smith's going to do. So you need a center and a tackle or a guard. And you need a linebacker. Do
you care what order? Like what rounds?
Not really. I mean, I need a plug and play player. You didn't get it last year. You need to get a guy ready to play. Step right in.
Yeah. So what was it, linebacker?
I know I left off running back, but I mean I can't get it all. So
yeah, we talked about that earlier.
You can get a running back.
Yeah.
If you can't get a running back,
you don't
we're
have
in
to
bad
spend a high
shape.
pick.
Yeah,
I promise you, we're in bad
but if you
shape.
figure out center and guard, or tackle, your running back's going to look better.
Yeah, he is, man. Yeah, he is.
So
he said it, man. He said, I can't even add on to that. He said and I don't care what order.
Yeah.
Let free agency help us for a change. I don't care what order.
About you, Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, offensive line is the key, and they've got to address linebackers. So a big guy in the defensive line, like you were talking about earlier. I mean, that would obviously help, but I'm not. I just don't think you spend a lot of cap on a running back. So
move Bell back to safety. Let Overshawn is his name. Yeah. Let him come back 7 or 8 games into next year. Don't rush him back. Just spot play him. Just give him little things and let him come back slow, but get you a big run-stopping grizzly linebacker.
And that's where your need, and if you value all three of those positions kind of the same, they tend to do best in the draft when they don't go, we need this player in this position. So with them having 3 needs, You should, in the first 2 or 3 rounds, be able to say, take the best player at whichever one of those 3. Because when they reach, that's when they get in trouble. When they've drafted Zach, and it was like, oh, this isn't exciting. Tyron, oh, this isn't that exciting. Frederick, look what you got, right?
Frederick,
when you start pressing and you go, I need this position,
and teams know it too.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, they need a tackle, so you better jump the Cowboys if you're, or jump them if you need a center or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you need a lot of things, then you can't really do that.
Do you see them moving up or back?
I don't see them moving up because I see them moving back. They don't have a 4th, or 5th, or 6th right now. They probably will get a couple of comp picks, but I mean, I see them moving back.
So what number they getting it at?
In what?
The Cowboys. What number? 24.
24.
And what's this draft is deep?
Linemen,
what position?
Offensive tackles,
receivers.
Yeah, and they got a few good centers out there.
But you want you want to see a quarterback drop. That'll help the Cowboys about a trade back. You want one of those quarterbacks that people
move up,
that falls, so a team will say, "Hey, I'll take your 24 and I'll give you whatever." Move back a little bit, or maybe even out of the first round, just to get some picks.
Yeah,
if you got all those needs.
Yeah. Any guys
not going to take a QB if you don't restructure Dak?
You're going to restructure Dak because you won't have no team. You'll be like New Orleans cutting everybody, them in Denver.
We're all in.
Yeah.
You gotta sign Dak if you're all in, right?
Yeah. Man, I just don't know. Much as I like Dak, boy, Dak, he crushed me a little bit during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Him and CD. Because I just thought CD could have, I don't know if he could have made a couple of more plays for him or not, but I'm with you on that, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing before we get out of here. So, Kurt, I see your note, and I saw this the other day that Micah they picked up the 5th-year option on Parsons.
He wanted to be a defensive end.
As a defensive end.
He wanted to be a defensive end.
And it cost him about roughly $3 million. But the NFL designated him as a defensive end, right?
And they'll work out a new deal with him before that ever comes around. So, but it's still kind of funny that
you cried for, you got it.
What's weird to me is that the linebacker is more expensive than the defensive.
That is strange.
Yeah, there's got to be some.
Well, they
outside linebacker, TJ Watt type stuff. I mean, some point they'll figure out that they just need to call them edge rushers.
Yeah, and it's those rushing linebackers that are.
Yeah,
and what we're talking about is the Cowboys are placing the 5th-year option on Micah. They slotted him as a defensive end. The NFL did, which is $21.3 million. But if he was a linebacker, it would have been $24 million. So, cost him roughly $3 million.
And it hasn't happened yet. It'll happen at the draft weekend. That's usually when they do it.
Is there a reason why the draft isn't before free agency, or what's the thinking around that?
We saw that with a mailbag question. On that. I don't know what the thinking is. It's usually just the start of the new league year. It probably has to do something with that too, because you start the league year and then you get the new player. You get players in before you started the new league year. Then are they in? How do you bring them in? I think it's more of a fresh start,
like
thing.
a timing.
I think it also keeps veteran players around more, because if you drafted first and then you're like, we're good. We're good on that corner. I don't need to bring him in. But at least you get some guys in to, like, as Band-Aids, and then you keep them, and then they get to stay in the league a little bit. I think it would go to a much younger league. So
yeah. All right, fellas. Well, good stuff. Nick, thanks for stopping by as always. Anytime we have an open chair, you are more than welcome. And even when we don't,
we
have
hope
an
Tyson
open chair,
don't always show up when you can eat.
Can stand. Yeah, and if you do get to talk to Tyson,
I won't. I'm not
not
going to do it. No, I'll let Michael Irvin do that. Maybe I'll go with Michael Irvin. We'll mic him up. How about that? We mic up Mike to go talk to Mike.
4 mics.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to happen. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so greght. All right, fellas.
We'll bring Zimmer and McCarthy, too.
There you go.
Just mic it up.
Mic it up. Mic'd up with mics. 4 mics.
Speaking of brands.
There you go. All right, fellas. Same time next week. Maybe Jesse will show up this week.
He will.
You think? Yeah, you'll be gone next week. Y'all been rotating.
Yeah.
When we gonna start swapping out, Kurt? I like my $10.
Yeah, I'll actually be out next week. So.
See, there we.
Sorry,
we can't.
I'll see y'all next week.
All right, see you next week. Same time, same place with Nick Eatman on Hanging with the Boys next Thursday, 9 a.m.
Say we out.
We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!